My husband danced with his mistress at our wedding anniversary. By morning, he was homeless. I always believed anniversaries were milestones, moments where love is celebrated, where years of sacrifice and loyalty are honored. For me, our 10th wedding anniversary was supposed to be proof that we had weathered storms together, built a home together, and shared dreams. I had spent weeks planning the evening, arranging the decorations, the menu, the music, all so that my husband, Daniel, would know how deeply I loved him. But I never imagined that night would shatter my marriage in front of everyone we knew. The ballroom was glowing with golden lights. Soft music played, laughter filled the air, and our closest friends and family raised their glasses to toast us. I was in a shimmering silver gown Daniel had always loved, the one he said made me look like a dream walking. As I looked around, I thought, naively, that happiness was mine. That is, until the music shifted into a slow, romantic tune, and Daniel reached for someone's hand. But it wasn't mine. My heart nearly stopped when I saw her. A woman I had never met, dressed in a daring red dress, lips painted to match. She smiled as though she had already claimed him, and without a trace of shame, Daniel pulled her to the center of the floor. In front of everyone, my husband, my partner of a decade, wrapped his arms around his mistress and began to dance. The whispers started immediately. Gasps rippled across the room. I stood frozen, champagne glass trembling in my hand, every nerve in my body screaming to wake up from what had to be a nightmare. My best friend, Elena, touched my arm gently, whispering, "Don't let them see you break." But I already was breaking. As the song continued, Daniel spun the woman gracefully, laughing in a way I hadn't heard in years. It was as though I had ceased to exist, as though our vows, our family, our memories, me, meant nothing at all. I wanted to storm out. I wanted to scream. But then something inside me shifted. Instead of running, I walked calmly to the DJ booth, asked for the microphone, and stood before the crowd. My voice shook, but I forced strength into it. "Ladies and gentlemen," I began, my eyes fixed on Daniel, "thank you for being here tonight to celebrate 10 years of marriage. Tonight, I have been given the greatest gift a wife could ever receive, the truth." The room fell silent. Daniel froze mid-step, finally realizing the weight of what he had done. His mistress blinked, unsure whether to smile or leave. "Marriage," I continued, "is built on trust, loyalty, and respect. And tonight, I've learned that mine no longer exists." I set the microphone down, removed my wedding ring in front of everyone, and placed it neatly on the table. A murmur spread through the room, half pity, half admiration. I turned and walked away, leaving Daniel standing there, exposed and speechless. That night, I locked the bedroom door. He knocked, pleaded, tried to explain, but I refused to listen. I had listened to his lies for too long already. While he slept on the couch, I stayed awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment of our marriage in my head, the sacrifices I made, the times I forgave him, the little red flags I ignored. By morning, my decision was clear. At sunrise, I packed his suitcase myself. When Daniel came into the kitchen, bleary-eyed, he found it waiting by the door. "What's this?" he asked, voice cracked. "Your new home," I replied coldly. "Because this one no longer belongs to you." He laughed nervously at first, thinking I was bluffing. But when I handed him the envelope with divorce papers I had secretly prepared months ago, papers I never intended to use unless he gave me a reason, his face drained of color. "You planned this," he whispered. "No," I said firmly. "You planned this the moment you decided another woman was worth more than your wife." Daniel begged, promised it was a mistake, that she meant nothing. But I looked him dead in the eye and said, "If she meant nothing, why did you humiliate me in front of everyone who came to celebrate us?" With that, I opened the door and pointed outside. He stood there for a moment, disbelief painted on his face, until he finally grabbed the suitcase and walked out. The man who had once been the center of my world was now just another stranger on the street. Word spread quickly. Friends who had witnessed the anniversary fiasco cut ties with him. His mistress disappeared when she realized he had nothing left to offer her. Within days, Daniel had no home, no friends, no family willing to take him in. He had thrown everything away with one careless, cruel act. And me, I was broken, yes, but not destroyed. In the weeks that followed, I poured myself into rebuilding, into therapy, into rediscovering the hobbies I had given up for his sake, into the love of friends who reminded me I was worth far more than betrayal. Slowly, I found my strength again. Months later, I stood on the balcony of my new apartment, looking out at the sunrise, a quiet peace filling me. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't even bitter. Instead, I was grateful. Grateful that Daniel had revealed himself before I wasted another 10 years. Grateful that I had finally learned to choose myself. And when someone asked me what happened to my marriage, I would smile softly and say, my husband danced with his mistress at our wedding anniversary. By morning, he was homeless. And by the next sunrise, I was free. Dash dash dash.